Great, so let's dive right into your push creatives guidelines. So I think it's important to cover what you can't do. That way, you know, if you have any intentions on going any route, any direction that's listed here, then Zeropark just ain't for you. Don't even waste your time. All right, so what's prohibited? The content, the type of content. I think it's self explanatory, but then again, you never know. People are interesting and they definitely will try to get things over on others and take advantage of people. So, of course, using celebrities, like that's the number one. Radical political ideology and religious views that are propaganda and offensive. Political advertising is just that topic that you just don't need to go into, really, right? Violent porn, they do allow adult, but come on, violent sexualization of minors, like people who try to get that across on these platforms are definitely not in the right place. They need to stick to doing whatever they're doing in their little corner. So prohibited practices as well, like cloaking, not needed, phishing, not needed, rotating the offer to display prohibited content, copyright infringement, spreading malware, auto downloads. It's self-explanatory, but you kind of have to make sure that you know what's not allowed. Like you can direct link, you have access to an affiliate manager. There's no need to try to cut corners and go the black hat route. Let's take a look at campaign rejection regions first, and then after that we'll look at creative asset specifications, and we'll dive into what the creative guidelines are when it comes to Zeropark. It's just best to look at what the recommendations are straight from their document section. So, common rejection regions, besides the fact that you can't use any trademarks, you low quality, obviously that's self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised. Using the words in any context related to a data breach, creators that imitate system application warnings, anything that's false, anything that uses celebrities or sexually provocative or prohibited practices that we went over. Those are the, pretty general. And the approval process is extremely thorough. So you do have to indicate what your vertical is, and they are going to review your campaign. You're going to look over the creatives, and it's just best to play it safe. Don't go trying to go against the grain and thinking outside of the box. However, it is okay to ask questions, because there are some times where your landing page intentions or something on your landing page may be misinterpreted. So you can definitely have that addressed. So what about the asset specifications? I think it's totally neat that you can use 10 creatives at one time. So that helps you resolve the situation if you want to do split testing. Now, if you are looking at the bullet points to the far left, then you can see that you have a maximum of 30 characters in your title. The description is a maximum of 75 characters. And then also the image format needs to be a JPEG or PNG. And then the image pixels need to be a minimum of 192 by 192. Always a square image. And if it's bigger, you can't use it. If it's smaller, it won't let you enter it as well. So let's take a look at what some of the guidelines are and the creative that you should use. And then if you stay tuned and join me in the quick start guide, I'll go over how to run successful push campaigns and kind of how to build one. I think it's best if we look at the general regulations and restrictions when it comes to your creatives. So ideally, you don't want to confuse the visitor. You want to be as clear as you are with your creative and your copy. So using text that's not understandable 100% defeats the purpose. Taking curiosity to the extreme at this point is not needed. And then disgusting content, like even though this may be a fruit or something, it's weird. It's not needed. Now, I know that the element of curiosity is what they're going for here and trying to get a click out of this situation. But who's really going to eat that? Like, nobody knows what that is. And then also, this is, no, what is that? Not necessary. So anything that gives negative connotations, and then obviously things that are 100% not true. Now, you are able to use trademarks only with the consent of the trademark owner. So, like for example, Amazon does not fly when it comes to landing pages and creative. So you just have to be careful with that, and you will have your campaigns disapproved and stopped manually should that become an issue, and that's triggered on the Zeropark side. But you can kind of like promote the product. You just can't call it out and say like you're promoting something with that's not related to the brand. Like that makes no sense. You also can't misrepresent any affiliation, like saying this is a Skype message. That's not cool. You can't say there's a new friend request from Facebook. That's not cool. You can, however, imitate certain things. So there are ways to imitate and kind of be creative, but you can't go too aggressive with it. And we'll definitely show you how to assemble creatives and ad copy that'll help get you long-term results with your campaigns. And then also adult landing pages is super important because these are kind of, I'd say, in the gray area, right? You don't want to be too risky. You don't want to be too sensual or sexy or anything like that. You kind of want to play it safe, but then again, you kind of gotta pique their interest at the same time. And then you have to also stop the scroll. Like the main purpose of your advertisement is just to get the click. The landing page is what's supposed to convert the user, and then obviously because it's CPA, it's easier to get that payout because the conversion happens in a different flow than it would in the general affiliate marketing setup where you're trying to sell your own product or something like that. So as you can see, information, education, visual hints, but not actual sexual interaction, where it kind of, you can tell it's about to go down, but it's nah, we're not there yet. The magic's just about to happen. And then also, you can definitely do like bikinis, which is like that socially accepted thing, right? Where you lingerie, not so much, but definitely bikinis. This is like subjective, right? So anything referencing genitalia, that's something that you can do, but just going straight for the full nudity and like going hardcore with the graphics and this pornographic wording, like all of that, don't do it. And refer here. So if you're using smart links, it's also important to point out that with your smart links, you need to make sure that they're going to follow the guidelines too, because those are rotated by the affiliate network. So that's just something to consider. And you can do real money gambling offers if it's permitted by the local laws in that region, right? So in the United States, there are some states that don't allow it at all whatsoever. So you just need to be aware of that. And then here we go about some desktop creatives, because the malware and those situations where you try to pique interest by saying someone has a virus or they need to download something now. You can't say that you found it, right? You can recommend, but you can't say, oh no, your stuff is messed up. You can't go with that angle. That's not approved. So definitely take that into consideration, that you want to work towards the solution to a pain point, or you want to work towards pleasure when you're advertising something. But that's it. Those are the only two things you should be doing. Don't try to clickbait someone by piquing their interest with negative intentions. Or just doing these spammy, obviously overused, done over again, not approved kind of angles.